So I'd like to welcome those of you who are joining us for the workshop leader training information for Cairns, Queensland, Australia. And you're going to hear some wonderful testimonials today, all about how not only does the training give you the skills and the materials to lead the workshops in Louise's philosophy, but you'll also come through that week transformed yourself. You'll go deeper in Louise's philosophy than you've ever been before. And you'll hear from our panelists how it transformed them after reading the book and doing some of the workshops. So I would like to greet our panelists first of all, and Trisha, if you'll just wave. Trisha Sharkey, and she is the teacher trainer for Australia. She's been with the program and been a workshop leader and coach for over 12 years. She is an amazing facilitator. People just give her rave reviews for the work that she does. We are so committed to having people who are really that committed to Louise's work. She's now our teacher trainer in Australia and New Zealand. And so we're very happy to have her on to tell you more about the program that she'll be leading in July. And also with us is Nancy Assad, and she took the training with Trisha last year. She is also a Heal Your Life workshop leader and said that it was the best career decision she ever made in terms of taking the training. She has a background with Louise's work in other modalities, and she found Louise's work during a difficult time in her life, which is very usual for many people. You know, when your heart's really calling out for something to change, the resource shows up, and Louise's work often does for people. So welcome, Nancy. Glad to have you on here. And Janine Shaka is also here with us. She is from New South Wales in near Sydney, I guess. In Australia. Rick and I have been there, and we loved it. And we're delighted to welcome you. I know you've also done the mirror work workshop that Hay House has, and that's very much helped you. And you also found Louise's work during a challenging time. You're also skilled in some other modalities as well as Louise's work, and had a great breakthrough at the training. So that's a very exciting thing as well. Now, we like to start out with a reading. You're going to hear more from each one of these in a few minutes, but we like to start out with a reading from Louise's book, of course, You Can Heal Your Life. And here's my original. This is the 1994 version, and you can see it's held together with a rubber band because I have read it so much. Finally had to just give up and buy a new one. So if you'd like to just, wherever you are, just take a few deep breaths, let your body relax. Close your eyes and just really listen to these wise words from Louise. In the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. I support myself, and life supports me. I see evidence of the law working all around me and in every aspect of my life. I reinforce that which I learn in joyous ways. My day begins with gratitude and joy. I look forward with enthusiasm to the adventures of the day, knowing that in my life, all is good. I love who I am and all that I do. I am the living, loving, joyous expression of life. All is well in my world. And so it is. And so it is. Okay. So just stretch and open your eyes. And we're just so excited to share all the details of this amazing program with you. I was privileged to study personally with Louise a number of years ago, and long story, that just evolved into a training program. I was leading the 2-day workshop that you will experience at the training and also then be authorized to teach. And people came to me after experiencing that and said, you know, the book has changed my life so much, but this workshop over and above the book, I've just been able to go so much deeper. Could you ask Louise for a training program? So I called her and said, Louise, people are interested in a training program. And she'd never thought of one. She took a breath and thought about it for a moment. And she said, okay, you put it together. We'll get together and work on it together. And that's the evolution of the training program, which has now been going since 1995. We have over 2,000 Heal Your Life workshop leaders and coaches in 70 countries and 41 US states, and 22 trainers worldwide, a number of them in English like Trisha, and then we have quite a few in other languages as well, because Louise's work has been translated, her book, into 30 different languages, 32, I think, and she's sold 55 million copies. So while we miss her physical presence in this life, we just know that that energy of her work and the wisdom of her work will continue through her, books, the audios, the videos that we have, and also the people that are teaching others in her work and doing it on a very deep level. So welcome. I'm going to turn it over now to Trisha. And just Trisha, I'd ask you to just, share a bit more about your background with Louise and the workshops and what you've experienced.
Thank you. Just saying about Louise, I did get the opportunity to meet her twice, and it was an incredible feeling to meet her, because you can feel her energy coming towards you. She has an aura that just radiates, and it's amazing. So I'll always be happy to have met her in person, and that was a real privilege. Would have been great to train with her like you did. But anyway, we have you, Patricia, and I'm always grateful for that too. In 2000, my mum died, and that sent me on a real inner search. And it was a time where I was very lost, and I was looking for a path forward. And I came into a few different modalities. Colour took me on a journey, but in 2001, I bought the Louise Hay book. And I remember thinking, wow. And I often reflect on the simplicity of what she teaches. It's just so simple. If you can change your thinking, you can change your life. And having now worked with that for 20 years or more, and now teaching, of course, for the last 12, it's amazing to see the difference. So in 2010, I got to do my training with Susie Mulholland in Australia. And in 2011, I did the coach training with you, Patricia, and Rick. And they were life-changing moments. It just sent me on a different trajectory into my life, and I knew what I wanted to do. And it was actually back in 2010 that I thought, I'd love to be able to teach this and to teach the teachers. I felt that it would be something I could do and really, really find fulfillment in, because the work is so fulfilling. And I got that opportunity last year and trained with you over in Singapore. And then I had my first training, and of course, Nancy and Janine were there, beautiful facilitators. Anyone that comes into their workshops, so lucky to have them. And I'm having another course coming up again this July, and that's what we're going to talk about a little bit later. But her work, Louise's philosophy, as I said, it's simple, but it works, and it changes things.
Absolutely. Yeah. And actually, in 3 days, it is going to be the 1-year anniversary of our training in Singapore. So Rick and I just finished a video, and that's going to be sent out to everybody. So you will be getting that video just as a congratulations and, a celebration of it being the 1-year anniversary. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah. Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Yeah. So now I'll ask Nancy if you will just also share a bit about your background finding Louise's work. And I know you've been leading some workshops as well as Janine has, so that's pretty exciting as well.
Yeah, thanks, Patricia. I could say that my journey with Louise started just after I encountered Wayne Dyer, and I'm a big Wayne Dyer fan, and I know that they're best friends. So in about 2014, I hit rock bottom. I had all my children. I was willing to go back to work in interior design because that was my field. And I couldn't find a job. All the doors were closing. I actually had no self-confidence, no self-worth. I actually felt probably the lowest I've ever felt in my life. And one Friday evening, I turned on some Wayne Dyer. And of course, Louise Hay came on as well, and there started my journey in learning about Louise Hay's philosophy. Fast forward a couple of years, and I was introduced to Janine, who I now work alongside with in her business. And I listened to her webinar. It's called The Power Within. So she did a monthly webinar called Meaningful Monday to educate people. And it was called The Power Within. And I was on that with my husband, and my journey began there as well. I started working alongside with her. She sponsored me to become a coach with the John Maxwell team in America. And then early last year, in about July, I was listening to Louise Hay, as I usually do on YouTube, just listening to her affirmations. I was washing dishes while I was doing it. And then the ad came on by you, Patricia, to join do you want to be a teacher? Do you want to learn, the philosophy of Louise Hay? We have a workshop coming up in Cairns. And I thought, oh my goodness, yes. So I just clicked on the button, didn't think about it, and then came the next day to see Janine. And I said to her, we're doing this. And the rest is history. I had the most wonderful time with Trisha in Cairns. I can tell you it was life-changing for me. It was one of the biggest life-changing moments for me. She's an amazing teacher, and I thoroughly enjoyed every single moment of it.
Right. Okay. Thank you. All right, Janine.
Thank you. Well, I've also was a Wayne Dyer fan and read Heal Your Life many, many years ago. And I just remember the one thing that stood out was you're responsible for your reality. And nothing major happened. But in 2017, I decided to do that same webinar that Nancy was talking about called Meaningful Monday. It's free, just a free webinar, just to start adding value. And I actually had a dream. The minute I got the idea for this webinar, I had a dream, and in my dream, Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay both came into my dream, and they were holding me by my shoulder, saying, "Please use our work. Take our work. It's done. It's ready to go. It's so easy to just share our work." And I woke up and thought that was interesting. So I had the power within, and I started the webinars using a chapter of that book each Monday. That really, really helped me. I realized there was so much more to Louise Hay's work than I remembered from reading Heal Your Life all those years ago. And then I went through a very difficult time in 2019, and that's when, as you said, I found the 21-day mirror work from Hay House. And all I can say is that it really significantly shifted so many things on so many levels for me. And I found it quite powerful in its simplicity. Standing in front of the mirror, every day just for 5 to 10 minutes significantly changed myself, my business, my health, my relationships. I found it enormously powerful. Anyway, and then I said to Nancy a few years ago, I'd like to, train Heal Your Life if it's possible to even train it. So when Nancy saw that video she mentioned of you, Patricia, she came to the office that day and she said, we're going to do this. And at that time, my initial response was, oh, not this year. I've got too much on. I've got too busy. And she said, are you crazy? She said, you're definitely doing it. There's no doubt that you're going to do it because you've always wanted to do this. So I thought, you know what? It's true. Let me just make it happen. And then when I very first spoke to Trisha, when she was taking our booking, remember her words saying, before you can do the leadership training, you first got to attend the 2-day course so you know what it's about, and it'll absolutely change your life. And I thought, wow, those are big words, absolutely change your life. And I thought, really? And she said it again and again several times. And when we got to the workshop in Cairns again, Trisha said, this is going to change your life. And I thought, wow, those are really big words. And I thought, maybe it's an overstatement. But I tell you what, Trisha, you were 150% correct. It absolutely changed my life. And I was amazed. I was actually blown away to the power of the transformation. And just for people listening, it doesn't always happen necessarily in the 2 days. It might happen on the 3rd day or the 5th day or a week later, but it does happen. And many breakthroughs, there weren't just one. So I'm so grateful for it. And to be able to share this now with others is just an honor and a privilege. The power of this work is just phenomenal. So that's my story.
Great. Thank you. And we're so delighted that you're now teaching others. So I'm happy to now welcome Romaine. She used Janine's link to come in. There is a place somewhere on there you can change your name,
Okay.
but just so everyone knows. Yeah.
Yes.
This is
I'll
Romaine.
do that.
And Romaine has a fabulous background as a massage therapist and naturopath over many years. She also has been a workshop leader and coach in Louise's philosophy for over 10 years. She assists Trisha in the trainings, which is wonderful. And so we're happy to have her on and be able to join us. So Romaine, go ahead and just share a bit about your background and how you found Louise's work and just, the joy of sharing the workshops and actually guiding people through their transformations.
Yeah. So you can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. So I have been friends with Trisha for 40 years. We've been on quite a journey together, and the transformation for me really happened with the Louise Hay workshops, etc. We'd done a lot of alternative type things, colour therapy, and many different personal growth workshops, etc., etc. But Louise Hay really did change things for me personally. And Trisha can attest to this, that I used to be a volcano. It would build and build, and I would just absolutely explode. Well, that doesn't happen anymore, which I'm really, really pleased to say. And I must say, working with Trisha in the workshops is absolutely remarkable. So even though we've been doing this together for over 10 years, each workshop, whether I sit in on one or as a helper or participant, or whether I'm assisting, there's always something that comes through, and it's remarkable. And I say this from my heart to everybody else's heart. Trisha is a remarkable workshop leader. She's a remarkable therapist in everything. She's remarkable in the Heal Your Life workshops. And what Janine said is just 100%. You can see light bulbs going on. People are just click, click, click all the time. There's things and there's transformation. And, you can start one of these workshops and you can be looking like, but by the time you leave that workshop, it's like there's a light has come on and it's shining on you and you're bright and happy and so on. But I would like to say that I have experienced a few people that do it and think they're fixed and everything's fine. It's ongoing. I really believe that if you can do this, several times, you really, really do transform, and it does change your life. I feel so blessed and so grateful to have Trisha as my friend and to be able to assist her and to be able to sit in on her workshops. I am very, very blessed.
Great. Well, thank you all. Thank you. Thank you all for the feedback. And, just a few things, because this is the kind of feedback that we get from all the people who do the training and then do the workshops as well. And a couple of things is, you're talking about people just being so light at the end. And often when people finish the 1 week, especially training, they go home and people say, "Where have you been? You look so much younger. Did you go to a spa or something?" And the reason that people, we're going to start marketing it as an age reducing program, but you look so much younger because you've let so much go. You don't have all that heaviness still in you that is old stuff that you needed to let go of. So that's one thing for sure. One question I'd like to just answer that we get very often, and that is about having the program in person versus online, because we know there's lots of stuff online these days. And especially during the pandemic, we had to make a decision about how to go forward with the Heal Your Life training. So the training itself, we've maintained in person, because as I'm sure everyone on here, all our panelists and Trisha will attest, is that the depth of the program is just not something you can do online. And so we had to maintain the integrity of Louise's work and her legacy to maintain the trainings themselves online, in person. However, what we did do is we adapted a lot of the workshops that the Heal Your Life teachers were able to share and teach to be online. So when you get your materials at the training, you will have the option of leading some of those either in person or online. It's really up to you. And Trisha guides you through all of that and explains everything. And you get, full manuals to lead up to 14 different workshops. So you have a lot that you can use when you actually leave the program. So those are just a couple of things. If anyone who's attending the webinar would like to put something in the chat for us to answer, please feel free. But I'm also going to just go back to Trisha now, and she can give you a few more of the details about the logistics of the program and the hotel, etc. Okay, so Trisha.
before we go into the logistics, I do want to just follow up from that about being in person. And something that I will always say is, okay, I'll be facilitating the teacher training, but it's because of being in a group, because the richness, and we're looking at the richness on the screen with the ladies that are here now, of what everyone brings to the table, what everyone adds, and you share an experience. So being in person that you don't have online. And, it's often the chat that you have at morning tea or at lunchtime or at dinner that night where the light bulb will go off, or someone offers you something. And there's this wonderful feeling of community. And I've always said that Heal Your Life is a family, and you're not alone, and the support is there. But the sharing in person is really, really important. And, I say to do it, that is the best way. And the teacher training will always be in person. So the hotel, we're up in Cairns, sunny Cairns, and it's in July. So for those that are in the south, you will love the reprieve from the weather, because the weather in Cairns is absolutely beautiful at that time of the year. And we're going to have it at Doubletree Hilton. So last year we were at the Hilton Hotel. It's a Hilton Hotel this time, but it's at the other end of the Esplanade. So it's about the same travel distance to all the lovely restaurants and shops and so forth. And the workshop, we come together on the Saturday night, and that's always, I think, one of the most beautiful times, because it's like, why are you here? And everyone's there for their own reason. And I think that's always honoured as well, because not everyone's going to go out and teach straight away. They might teach later on. It could be for their own personal growth and healing. But that coming together is special, and it gets the group energy going. And then the next 2 days, we do the 2-day training, the workshop. And for those of you, it doesn't matter how many times you've done the 2-day workshop, there is always something else that we can go deeper with or peel back. And then thereafter, the next day, we break that down, and then how we're going to teach it and ideas with that. We work on mind-body connection, prosperity. We do marketing, and also the licensing, which I think you're going to talk about, Patricia. And so by the time you walk away from the end of the week, is that you will be confident to go out and teach, just as all these ladies here have done. And you have the support of me here in Australia, you have the support of Patricia, but you also have this wonderful community. The course, if there's a discount being offered if you pay a deposit by the 22nd of April. The overall cost of the entire course is $4,695. So if you pay on the 22nd, it'll be $4,495. And the course is from the 15th to the 22nd of July. So I think that says enough about it, but if you've got more questions, please ask.
Okay. And I did put in the chat that April 22nd, it's just the deposit that is due, and it's an early deposit, and they save $200 Australian. So it's $755 instead of $955. Okay. And the deposit links are on your website. They're on your website, or do they need to call you?
No, they're on the website, or they can call me, they can email me. I'm available. I love to talk to people. Just as Janine was saying before, we had a long chat that first day, didn't we? And I'm always there. I love that connection. I love personal connection. So don't ever be afraid to call. And if I don't answer straight away, I will come back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's important, because there's just a lot of personal connection in the Heal Your Life training. And so either before the training, you're happy to answer questions. You do a lot of support afterwards. And that's a very important part of our program as well, because there are a lot of programs that people go to these days, and they just sort of say, well, goodbye and have a nice life, or you're online and you don't get a lot of support there. But the Heal Your Life community, family, we do call it, there's a lot of support afterwards. So not only does Trisha offer support specifically to the people that she's trained, but we have the worldwide support that we offer with private Facebook groups, with Getting Started series, which is just something to do every few days that really help you as you go back into your regular life. And you're able to start on the workshops and do just a step at a time so that you can get going with it. and it's very much at your own pace and also to fit whatever lifestyle you have. You know, some people already have a lot of other things that they're doing, so they may want to do short workshops, and others want to jump in right away to the 2-day workshops. And I will just turn that back to Janine at this point, because you had just trained last year, but you jumped right in and started doing the 2-day workshops with Nancy. And, you know, that is wonderful, because a lot of times people start off with shorter ones, which is fine. But it's great that you felt the confidence after the 1-week training to just jump into the 2-day workshop. So, you know, please share something about that and just the results that you're experiencing when you teach that.
Thank you. So one of the exercises at Trisha's workshop, I don't know which it was the very last day, I think, Trisha, where we had to close our eyes and then write something down, what we're going to do when we get back. And I just committed that I would do a Heal Your Life workshop December, and we only did the training in October. So I stuck to those days, and the interesting thing was I never got more than just 2 or 3 bookings initially, and I thought, look, just go ahead and march on. And literally just before the workshop, it was completely sold out. So I was, you know, delighted with that, but more than delighted with that was the experience of actually training it for the very first time. There's words can't really express how rewarding that those 2 days were for myself. Thank you to Nancy, who helped me there. It was just the most wonderful, wonderful 2 days. The transformation, I don't know, Trisha, you must have such a wonderful life watching how many of these over the years. But there were some people who came in the room, one in particular that, you know, was crying from the very first moment, even before we opened. And by the end of that 2 days, that person honestly looked like a whole new human being. So much had lifted off her. So that was that. And then I just thought, well, what happened was that December, I got so many requests saying, yes, I want to do it, but I can't do it in December. I'm going away, or it's school holidays. Please, I want to do the next one. So I ended up with 23 people on a waiting list for the next workshop. I thought I might as well just put the date out for the second workshop. So we did it. When was it, Nance? Was it February?
No, March.
Oh, it was March. Yeah. So we did March. And because of the waiting list that we have, that one was sold out as well. And now we've got another one coming up in, is it August? Sorry, my calendar, I just realized my website's
August.
gone down. We have some changes on the website, and I'll try to find the date. So August, we have the next one, and potentially we'll have more people, because what we did was 12. We only started with 12 on the first one and the second one. And I thought it was really a nice, intimate number. But we might just consider, just depending on how many people come onto the waiting list, I will do it. But all I can say is it was the most wonderful experience to see how this transforms other people's lives. And people who come into the room sometimes thinking that they've got everything together, and then it might need a little bit of a shift here or there, have like a major breakthrough, or 2 or 3. And it's just incredibly powerful work, which is, as I said, the most rewarding thing, to be able to share this with others.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Okay, Nancy, I know you are also assisting there, and I also wanted to ask you to just comment on just the materials that you get at the training, and how you felt that the materials were complete and really helped you, and you know, you didn't have to reinvent the wheel.
No, everything was absolutely amazing. You know, you get a program that you can do online, the 10-week online. So we do incorporate, you can actually incorporate that in a coaching session. So when we do coaching, if somebody, most of my coaching clients, and I know Janine does too, we do the mirror work with them, and it's actually a prerequisite, because most of our coaching clients, the first thing they tell us is that they have low self-esteem or low self-confidence or not enough self-love, and you can kind of pick that up as you're coaching them. So part of the prerequisite is that they do mirror work with us. So we keep them accountable and they keep us accountable. And as we're doing that, we can incorporate some of the 10-week program, the online program, into the coaching session. So you can utilize that. You get that when you finish with Trisha after the 7 days. Also, you get access to so many things online, you know, through the website. You've got all the logistics there for you, that you just, all you have to do is print it out and bind it. You get obviously the material that you use to train the Heal Your Life program, and you just bind that. You get all the handouts. All you have to do is just print that out. The music is downloaded already. Trisha gave us a lovely little USB here that everything's downloaded, even all the meditations and music. She was brilliant. Her husband was fantastic in doing that, so we got to thank him. But everything is given to you, and all you really have to do is start, I would say advertising, talking about it. Facebook is a great outlet. You know, you've got your own teachers Facebook group there, and there's a lot of people that help you. You kind of learn from other people and see what they've been doing. And yeah, I think it's fantastic. There's nothing that you really need to do except just go and start. That's all I can say, really.
Yeah, just jump in and do it.
Yeah, take a leap of faith. And it can be difficult. I mean, I come from a background where I've never done anything like this before. I don't have a database of people, and I'm just learning as I'm going along. All I'm doing is just taking a step each day. And I do notice I get those emails from you, Patricia, about the 21-day challenge, where you just do something every day.
Mhm.
And that's what we've been doing, and that's what I've been doing, and just taking it one step at a time and starting to build my business sort of thing. But don't give up. I just say, just keep going. You know, there's so many opportunities out there.
Great. Thank you. Okay, Romaine, I know you've led many workshops over the years and coached and incorporated it into the work that you do, and you've also assisted Trisha. So let's hear from you.
Okay, so as you said before, I'm a massage therapist, have been a massage therapist, and I found that incredibly amazing to be able to use the Heal Your Life content in my massage work. You know, like, for example, I'll give you an example. You know, somebody's come in with lower back issues, etc., etc. And, you know, sometimes I know therapists, all right, come back. And that's fine. However, I really feel that I could actually say to somebody, okay, so have you got something happening in your life, you know, financially, or do you feel lack of support with your family or friends or in your work? And they would just be amazed. They'd be lying face down and they'd actually lift their head and go, yes. So I found that I could actually then assist them with, you know, looking at that and trying to change that so that we could heal that lower back problem, you know, quite a lot quicker than normally, that you just keep going on and on and on and having more massage, etc. Same with, you know, neck and shoulders. Or so are you, you know, if you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders, what's troubling you at the moment? And they'd be like, oh, you know. So it was quite remarkable to be able to massage and relate all those physical problems to the emotional problems that were going on in people's lives. So for me, that was a really huge gift in my massage work. And I really, really enjoyed being able to work out, all right, so the pain was here, what's going on with this, that, or the other. So that was the main thing for me, Patricia, is being able to look at that. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people that are interested in doing the Heal Your Life workshops that do alternative therapies. And this just, it completes what you've learned. It helps your clients with no matter what you do. Another example was that, you know, Trisha and I did the colour therapy, and it really helps people. However, the Heal Your Life work just takes it a step further, and you're able to look at the individual in a much deeper aspect. And it really, really helps with all of those types of alternative therapies. Sorry, what else did you ask me?
That's good. No, that's great. And, you know, I'm just taking on with that is one of the things that Louise has always said is the only person you ever need to work on is yourself. Now, I'm sure all of us have been in some relationships where we're really pretty sure that our partner needs to change. But when we work on ourselves, what happens
Yeah.
is that our own understanding of ourself then expands and we can relate to others so much more. So the foundation of Louise's work is loving and approving of yourself. But the wonderful gift that comes along with that is that as you do that for yourself, you're able to really relate to others so much better. And you're able to understand, as you were talking about, Romaine, when you have these aches and pains and people look up either in the smaller book or the larger book, with all the symptoms, etc. In all the coaching work that I did, and I did a lot of mind-body work over the years, it was about 75 to 80%, accurate. And you're absolutely right. People go, how did you know? And I said, well, Louise has it in her book. So it's really a valuable one to get and to use. Now, I also want to comment and say that people are very interested these days in becoming a life coach. And the program with Louise's work started out as the workshop leader training because that was what people wanted, especially for the 2-day workshop. And as time went on, it became clear that it was becoming more important. And this was quite a number of years ago now. So we added the coach training into the Heal Your Life work. So the program is really now a 2-step process. It's the first week for the workshop leader training, and there's a follow-up 6 days for the coach training that I think, Trisha, you're doing somewhat a little later this year, right? Yeah.
October 7th to the 13th.
Okay, so people are, have the option of going on to be a coach with the second part of the program. But the reason that those two are so great together, because that's how I built my full-time business, was the combination of the workshops and the coaching, is because people come to the workshops and sometimes and many times people want to sign up for coaching, or they come to you as a coach and then you invite them to do the workshop because they can be in that group energy and have even more transformation. So it's a really nice combination in terms of your career and forwarding your career. And as Romaine was talking about, a lot of our Heal Your Life practitioners are also, work with alternative other modalities, etc. And it just adds that extra piece to it, not only for you as an individual to do individual work, but also it allows you to offer this, extra skill and extra workshop to your clients. And so they can do more work within themselves. So the two together are really a very nice package. And I'm sometimes asked, what's the difference between workshops and coaching? Well, the kind of obvious answer is in workshops, you're doing a group, and in coaching, it's one-to-one. But in a bigger way to look at it, as the workshop leader, you have an agenda and you've got the script. You don't read the script. They all have their scripts, etc., but you don't read those. But you have them as a guide, and everything's provided, as Nancy was saying, with the handouts and music and everything. But you set the agenda and you have the exercises in a particular order that you do with everybody who's in the group. And yes, you might be addressing different issues as you go through the workshop. It's not, a standard rigid thing. But when you're a coach, your client is setting the agenda. And so you're using all of Louise's techniques and many of the materials, and you also get a lot more materials when you do the coach training. You're using all of that, but your client comes in and says, this is the issue I want to work on. And as a Heal Your Life coach, you often know that that's not really the thing that they need to work on, but that's a whole nother process at the training. But you're able to adapt all the work that with Louise's philosophy to meet the client's needs. So that to me is how I like to describe the difference between the two. I'm going to go back to Trisha now and just ask her for anything else she would like to add about the workshop leader program coming up. It is July. Say the dates again, please, and I'll put them in here.
15th to the 22nd of July.
Okay.
So we've still got about 3 months, is it? Or April?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I'd just like to say, if you're sitting on the fence or you're thinking, oh, I think I'd like to, or I don't know, it's just come, just do it. It'll be the most wonderful thing you've ever given yourself in your life.
Absolutely. And we do get testimonials where people say, I knew about the program for 5 years or 7 years. One person even had known about the program for 12 years and said, I wish I'd come before, but we also know that the perfect group comes together. And so we do encourage you, when that's in your heart and feeling moved to do it, just go ahead and take the risk and do it, because It is a phenomenal program that, as you've already heard today, will definitely change your life, even more reading than reading the book. So one other aspect I'm going to talk about is the licensing and how that came about. When I first was working with Louise and she approved the training program, and I was delighted to spend a whole weekend with her, actually, where we went over all the materials and how the week was going to be, put together and structured, etc. But one thing that we did at the time, it was with a hug and a handshake. As time has evolved, business has evolved, social media has evolved, obviously. And so it became more important to actually have a more structured, agreement. And the licensing agreement came up in 2008, actually. And Louise's movie, You Can Heal Your Life, the movie had been out and people were really enjoying that. And Hay House decided to do some trademarks with You Can Heal Your Life and Heal Your Life. And their trademark lawyer called my husband and I and said, we know you're doing the trainings, and here's the option that we have for you now. We'd like to offer you the option for an official, agreement with Hay House and Louise, and it will be a licensing program. And we thought about it for about a nanosecond and said, we think that sounds like a great idea to do that. So the licensing has been since 2009. There is a $99 fee, US fee per year for that, and it gives you the opportunity to use all the copyrighted materials, the trademarks, etc., and get all the support and the follow-up, and actually be on the Heal Your Life Workshops website, which is a perk for you as part of it. And you get a new 3-hour workshop every year. So there's a lot that goes along with the licensing. It started out as $99 a year US in 2009, and we have not changed that since then. Even though lots of costs have gone up everywhere else, we felt very committed to just keep that price very reasonable for people. So that is a yearly cost. In Australia, we do recommend insurance, and Trisha talks about that at the training itself. But it's a really important official connection with Hay House, and also with Louise. She approved the program as well. So that's a big part of it, and a lot of legitimacy that goes a step beyond you getting just a certificate. So you do get a certificate, okay, on the last day, and there's a lovely certificate ceremony for that, but the license adds that additional piece of professionalism. Okay. And what else, Trisha?
Well, just following on again from that is it's the support and the backup, and $99 US is a very, very affordable yearly rate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, what you do. And as you said, this will go on to YouTube and people get to see it. And you can be listed on that whole website, and you can put your workshops on there. And, you can't sort of, because then they look you up and they say, oh, Sydney, oh, they're having a course at that date. Mm-hmm. So it's like you're paying for advertising, and it's the cheapest, most affordable advertising ever.
Yeah.
Trust me, actually, I worked in advertising for a long time in television, and that the rate's really, really good.
Yeah. And we actually are in the midst of completing a whole new Heal Your Life Workshops website that's going to be improved and much better and easier to use, etc., for everyone. So we're pretty excited about that, and we'll be announcing that fairly soon. Okay. The other thing I'll mention in terms of follow-up support, we do free training at times. So we have a free training in Canva, which many of the workshop leaders use to create their beautiful images. And then other things come along that we do some free training for, but we offer you lots of support. So I'm going to just ask our other panelists to say a few final words before we finish, and thank everybody for being on. So Janine, any?
Just thank you for this opportunity to share with people thinking about it, and for anyone who is watching and thinking about it. All I can say is that the most meaningful and fulfilling life you can have is to add value to others. And when you do this work, because I do several modalities, I must just say that this really, really moves a person from deep within your heart space. It's basically teaching love and helping people love themselves, which changes everything in their lives. And yeah, if it's just something you're thinking about, definitely do it. Don't hesitate. I'd say just do it.
Thank you. And we often do say you are teachers of love when you graduate from this class. So absolutely. Nancy.
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to yourself and Trisha as well. It's been a wonderful journey for me. It's 5 years in the making of being my true authentic self. I honestly can say to anyone that you can do as many modalities as you want, and I think Romaine and I were talking about it. But this is the one thing that you do that is the foundation for everything in your life, success-wise, for relationships, for money, for health, anything. And I think you can do as many as you can, but this is it. This is the one. And if not now, then when? So it is life-changing. It really, really is. Thank you.
You're welcome. Romaine.
Oh, the two ladies just said exactly what I would have said. However, I would just want to add, don't hesitate. Don't even think about it. Just do it. You be just love yourself and give yourself this amazing gift. It is truly, truly a wonderful experience. Please do it.
And I will follow up with that. And then I'm going to go back to Trisha just to say goodbye at the end. But, we often hear from people when they are concerned about the financial aspect. And I would like to remind you, if that's a concern of yours, to just really remember Louise's work and the totality of possibilities. Just open yourself up to the possibilities. We have so many people who've come to the training who said there was some miracle that came into their lives that allowed them to go to it if they didn't feel like they had or didn't have the financial resources at the time. So just be assured that the universe wants to support you to come to this training and, not only transform yourself, but as everyone said today, get out there and transform others. It is so, so rewarding to be guiding others through this process and to see them in front of your eyes change. It is just incredible. It's the best work in the world, as far as I'm concerned. It's just so fulfilling, on every level. So just open yourself to the possibilities. Don't even think about, I have to cut it off or whatever. Just open, remember Louise's work, listen to some of her YouTube videos that we have, and, just allow yourself to really open to that totality of possibilities for yourself. Hey, Trisha, we're going to say goodbye now. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I just want to say the world needs you. The world needs this work. So let's make a difference while we have the opportunity to do that.
Absolutely.
And thank you. And really want to just say thank you to the girls, because I love them all so much. It's great to see their beautiful faces on screen and to see you, Patricia. And as I said, the way you have brought Louise's work forward and you continue to do that, we honor you for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my joy. Absolutely. So thank you to all our panelists. It's been a wonderful time together, just sharing all about the training. And for those of you listening, either now or later, just take it into your heart and do it. Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.